So till now we have seen how you can develop the user box module, and also we have seen how you can incorporate these modules in the UI and a server. So let's now run this code and see what kind of UI changes that I have made. So you can see I have made some changes in the color. So I have changed the header color, sidebar color, and I have changed this color to pink and this color to light blue. So you can change. You can see these changes later on this video. And for now, we are going to develop a module for the filter. So we will create the modular drop-down filter in Shiny and use this module inside a multi-page Shiny application. So as you have seen in earlier videos that we have created 2 pages. So this filter that we are going to create, we will use in the second page. And we will see how just changing the filters, you will able to get the data based on the filter that you have selected. So let's now create a new script. So Control Shift N, and I am saving this script as a filter module, and this module is very important. So you have to pay as much attention that you can pay. So in the filter module, we will create a UI and a server component together. So for the UI, I'm going to write filter UI module, and we are going to use the function, and within the function I'm going to pass ID, and this ID has to be passed in the namespace as we have seen earlier. So this namespace, make sure that all the input IDs are namespaced. It means that they won't conflict with other modules. So I'm using this, and after that you can write like tag list. So tag list basically it's you can create all sorts of list of your tag. So let's suppose if you want to create a fluid row, then definitely you can write here. And within the fluid row, I'm going to use the BS4 card. So BS4 card is basically it's come under the BS4 dash library. So this will give you a very unique and very clear and visually appealing card. So we will see how it looks like. And within that we can pass arguments like user input. So title, what kind of title you want to say, you want to give. So I want to give a title as a user input. I think it's fine. User input is fine. Yeah, user input. And then we can also give like width, how much width you want. So I'm giving it 12. And then also you can give status. Status basically it will show like color. So if you use the primary status, then it will show a blue color. If you use a success, then it will show you a green color. So for now I'm going to use the primary color. And do you want the solid header to be true or false? It's false. Let me just arrange this. And here you have to use the function called picker input. So picker input basically is a function in a library called Shiny widget, and in which you will find this kind of basically drop down menus, drop down functions that you can use in our Shiny app. So I'm going to use this picker input. So you can see this is a part of Shiny widget, and within the Shiny input you can provide like a input ID. So input ID I'm going to provide like AVG. Maybe you can provide no, I think you can say state. And always remember, whenever you are using a ID in a UI, basically in UI module, so you have to always pass within the ns function. So I'm just writing a namespace here, and after that you can write like label you want to give like select state in a bracket. I can write this. So we are going to create 2 filters basically. The first filter will be a state level filter, and second filter will be a year. And also we will give the user slider so that the user can select the level of PM 2.5. And so label is select state here, and then we can select choice you can give based upon the data. So what we can do for now, let me do one more thing, pass the data here, because we need this data so that we should know that what kind of all kind of state that are present in a data. So we will do like unique, and in a unique we can like do the sorts, and the sorts we can write a data, and in a data we can write a maybe the name of the state. I think the name of the state is if I see, I think it's a state name, and also you have to write select. So here is one more argument called selected, and within the selected you can write this one again, because I want to select all the state for now at least. So do you want the multiple to be true? Yes, I want multiple true, because simultaneously I want to select the multiple states. And any other option that you want to explore? So let me write the option here, and within the option we can provide some other argument. So these are the options are available. So here you can see we have provided the action box true, and size I want to be a 5. If you select the more than 2 state, then it will show in the and live search I have enabled true. So let me just see, the brackets are fully closed. Yeah, perfect. And this one is here, and this one is here. All right. So let's now create another filter for the year. So I'm just copying the whole code here, and here I'm going to write year, and here I have to put like check with year, and this one is also here, and I will copy this year and paste it here. Yeah. So now that we have created 2 filters, the first filter is for the state level and second filter is for the year, and all other things will remain the same. So let me see how these filters are working. So I think we need to remove this. Yeah. So if I click here, you can see the tag list is now closed, and if I click here, then it is also closed. So now that we have completed the UI module part, so let's now work on the server. So below this, I have to write like a filter server module, and within that you have to like write a function, and within the function you have to pass the ID, or also you have to pass the data. And after that you can use the module server function in a channel, and within the module server function you can see ID and a module you have to pass. So I'm passing the ID here, and within that I'm passing again function, and within that I'm passing input and output. So this will basically communicate between the user interface and the server, input and output and session, right? And after that you have to write it. And within that we will write all the code that are necessary for the to communicate with the UI. So as you can see, we have created the two input. So let's now create a reactive value. So for that I'm going to use like rv state, and I'm like saving it as a reactive, saving it into the reactive value, and I'm like copying this and pasting again. So what it does basically, it is used to store the selected values independently. Especially it's helpful when the inputs are changed programmatically. So like any input that gets changed at the UI, it basically stored in the RV state. So for that we have used the reactive value. So we will see how this works. And also now let's isolate this. So isolate function basically runs this once without reacting to the change, and it captures the initial selections. So it will not show other user input like frequently changing or not changing, but it basically store the value. So this is a like you will consider a standard protocol or a standard format that you have to follow while developing your production level Shiny app. So we will see. So I'm going to use the isolate function, and within the isolate function you have to provide a rv state, and that will store the value from the user input using this. So this will give you the state name. If the user is selecting a state, either it's Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Bangalore, So that will get stored in this RV state. So I'm just copying this code again. I'm pasting here for the year also. So I'm just writing a year and I will copy this one, paste it here and paste it here. Right. So we have isolated the changes. So now let's create a dynamic year filtering. Because what we want, if the user select any particular state, the year column should automatically change with respect to the change in the selection. So let's see how we can do that. So that's called a dynamic year filtering. So I'm going to use the function called observe event. So observe event is basically what it does. It's a function. It's a reactive functions that observe for the event to get happen, and once that event is completed, it will execute the code which is inside the observe. So it's like if you want to print something, but you want to print whenever the button is get clicked. So you have to pass the button ID in the observe event, and when the button is get clicked, the ID will this observe event sees that this button is got clicked, and now the observe event will print all the code that are present inside the observe event. Let me show you how you can do that. So what I'm going to do, RV state, I think we can use this one. So what we want to observe the change in state. So once the state gets changed, what do we want? We want to change the year filter. So here we can place a comma, and within that observe event, I want to use the update picker input. So update picker input is also a part of the shiny widget function. So within that, you can use the IDs and the label and choice and selection. So here I am passing the session. Once I pass the session, I have to also put the input ID. So input ID basically what we have given. For year, I have given year as an input ID. So I'm copying this year as an ID and pasting here. And once this is done, it's time to give the label. So we have given the label as in the UI, but yeah, so it's good to write a label in the server also. So here we can write like select here, and like choices. So choices, like we can pass a data like this. So here's the trick, how you are going to give vector of choices. So let's see how you can do that. So what we can do, we can write a data, and within the data we can pass a state name. If it is present in the state name, how we can see that? By using the state. So as you know that RV state, basically it stores the value that user has selected. So I'm just copying this one and fill here. So I'm basically what I'm doing here, in a data frame, I'm filtering all those states which are selected by the user. And once the user select the state, I want all the years that are in the data frame. So here. So this will give you all the years, and I want the years to be unique and also arranged. So you can do like unique. So you can do this. Fantastic. So we have created the filter UI module in which we have passed the two picker inputs, basically two drop-down filters. Here we have passed the state filter, and here we can see we have passed the year filter. This is a UI module, and this one is a server module. In the server module, we have followed the same pattern as we have followed earlier. We have passed the ID, and the new thing is that we have also passing here the data, because we need a data within this filter so that it retrieve all the respective values. So you can see within the observe event, we are observing that state, like which state are getting select, and will filter the data from here, and the respective year will get in the choice option. And here you have to also write this one is to be selected, right? So let me run a small code that I have written for you, so that you will able to understand what I am doing here. So let me run this code. So you can see here we have the sidebar, here we have the header, and here we have only one filter, that's India. This one I have created for the demonstration purpose so that you can understand what I am doing in the backend section. So here we have given the two filters, right? The first filter was the state filter, and second filter was year filter. And third filter also we will give, that's a PM 2.5 label later on in the video. So you can see this one is a filter. You can imagine it as a state filter. So if I change this, so this one will get changed. And if I change here, this one will also again get changed. And if you want to change the value like PM 2.5 concentration, you can also change the concentration, and based upon that, the values will get changed. And here you can see at this concentration level, the only roughly how many cigarettes per day will going to affect that. So what I want to convey message, let me go to the backend section, and here within the filter. So basically now by using this dashboard and by using this filters, you will be able to relate how this code is working. So here you can see I have created an empty reactive value for the RV state and RV year. It should be year. We will change this. Also we have isolated the state and year here. You can understand if I was selecting a state from here, and this state that you have selected, it got stored in the input state, and this input state basically give you the state name, and it is wrapped in the isolate function so that it will not execute for that time. It's just storing the value. And now what I am doing here, once the user select the state, it goes here in a observe event, and in a observe event it filters the data based upon the selection of the state, and you will get the year in the choices in a selection. And after this we are going to use the function called observe. Why we are going to use observe? Because we want to run when the drop down are not open. Let's suppose I am setting a more than one filter here. So whenever you will click on the filter, the data will going to be changed. So I don't want that. I want once I will complete my selection and I will click outside, then only the data will get changed. I don't want that every time whenever I select this and data will keep on changing. I don't want this. So for that, I am going to use observe here. And within the observe, I'm going to give the conditional statement that is true. So what I'm going to see in the input, $, state underscore open. So this is the ID basically that we have used for the state. So basically underscore open, what it does, it basically it tells whether the drop down is currently open or not. So if it is not open, then only you have to refresh the data. So here you can again write this, and we can also point one more condition is that for the because we are using a two filter. So is true again, and within that you have to pass input $year open, and also I have to change this to year. YEAR. Okay, correct. And okay, fine. So I think we have passed the two conditions here. The first is for the state and second is for the year. So I want these two filter to be closed before the data get refreshed. I hope I'm making it clear, everyone. So if you have any doubt, you can always ask. So I'm going to pass this values here. I'm copying this code and I'm pasting here. Right. So it will observe whether the filters are open or no closed. So based upon this, data will get refreshed.